Phoenix Down Radio is on the air. With your hosts,
Klaus Nightbringer,
Fair Kimono,
Chille,
and Luna Vox.
Welcome everybody to Phoenix Down Radio, episode number 56. How's everybody doing today?
Good, but people are dumb.
Why are people dumb?
Well, we can go on about that later.
Yeah, like that could fill a show in and of itself.
Yeah, I'm sure it could. Also, Chille, we're down here, not up there.
Okay.
No.
Good thing that I
Chille
saw
runs the
that.
show now.
We want to make sure to include this Chille, though Aluna is still not in the show.
Yes, I'm going around shouting for the show. I'm coming.
Okay.
I'm working.
Thank you to everybody
Only
who's
talk
joining
so
us
fast.
live here at twitch.tv/Phoenix Down Radio, as well as on the podcast. We really appreciate it. This has been one hell of a couple of weeks, hasn't it, guys?
Yes,
I mean,
it sure as hell has.
In game not as much, but in the community.
Oh, I mean, it's been a huge thing in the community. Like last weekend, let's talk about that to start with. Extra Life.
Yay.
I do want to throw a quick shout out to our friends over at FFXIV who are streaming it for a second time. They split up their stream time. So they did the first 12 hours last Saturday. Now they're doing their second 12 hours currently out at twitch.tv/MusecastXIV. So if you want to check them out after the show, we may do a host or a raid or something like that to get them some more people. Yeah, we did a bunch of that too. I wasn't sure how much streaming I was going to do when I first started this. And we were talking about, let's split it up amongst us. Maybe Luna will take some, and maybe Chille will take some, and we'll stream it out. But somehow, some way, I ended up streaming an entire 25 hours.
What the hell were you thinking?
Nice.
It was for the kids.
It was for the kids.
I mean, I guess that's as good a reason as any.
But no, when I got into it, it was just, you know what? I'm going to do it. I had never done anything like it before. I mean, the last time I was up this long was FanFest. Though with FanFest, there was a lot more stuff around me to kind of keep me energized and keep me going. Sitting here in front of a computer playing video games is tough. When you get into that 20th, 21st hour, oh my God.
But it sounds like you had fun when you were at the other content creators.
Oh my God. I don't know how many of you guys actually checked that out. Yeah, about 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, something like that. We decided to play a game of Cards Against Humanity with all of the other content creators. And it got kind of lewd.
Yeah, the rest of us kind of discovered how big of perverts the content creator community is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Cards Against Humanity. It's gonna get lewd.
But I mean, this was like, next level lewd. Like, we learned a lot about the content creators, so it was hilarious. So it was a good
fun.
time. We had a great time doing it, and I look forward to doing it again. So like I said, made it out 25 hours, and by 9 a.m. on Sunday, we had raised $415 for Gillette Children's Specialty Healthcare here in St. Paul, Minnesota. So we did fall short of our goal, but here's the good news, guys. If you happen to miss it, or you didn't think you had a chance to donate, we're taking donations all the way through the end of the year. So yeah, you can. We're keeping the links for our team for that, so you can donate if you want to. And the stretch goals that we set are still valid. So if we hit $500, I will schedule a special stream to play Final Fantasy X2.
And especially since it's running through the end of the year, I know around the holidays people get a little bit stressed out about money, whether they're going to have enough for everything. If you've got a little left over at the end of it, it's a good time to think of others.
Yeah, so
I was up for the 25 hours also.
yes, Chille was there. I also want to throw a thank you out to Daltrea and Nick Nar for actually being here for a few hours and helping me out. So we had a good time. We had some pizza. We played some games. It was a good time.
Crazy people.
Want to throw a huge thank you to everybody who donated as well throughout the stream. Stella King, Daltrea, Thorn, Cody Cliff, Kaleida Fantasy, Aurori, Kisa Thunder, Chille, Vivi239, Nicknar, Yelta Sumasu, and Monkerbug. And I want to throw a big congratulations out to those who won the items that we were giving away. Vivi won the Stormblood Collector's Edition for PS4, so thank you for your donation and congratulations on winning that. Nicknar, Cody Cliff, and Kisa Thunder each won a Silver Moogle Pocket Watch. And Stella King, Daltrea, and Yelta each won a Mog Station minion. So congratulations to everybody. Again, thank you so much. I had a blast doing this, and I'm already actually trying to plan out next year's stream stuff. So
nice. I can definitely say that those pocket watches are really super nice. I have the gold and the silver one.
yeah,
So
you found those at Eagle, didn't you?
yes,
So, and they're not cheap either. They're really nicely done.
they are really nicely done. And like first I got the gold one, but I'm not really a fan of gold, so I went back and got the silver one. And yeah, definitely worth it.
I think the silver one's a little classier looking.
And there's just something classy in general about a pocket watch.
Well, especially one with a Moogle on it. A bunch of Moogles, actually.
Bunch of Moogles, or well, no, there's mainly Moogles all on them. Now that I'm thinking.
Yep. That's why they're called the Moogle Pocket Watch.
You know what? Don't judge me.
Oh, we're not judging. We're just correcting. There's a difference.
How dare.
And as a group, we are almost at our $5,000 goal. We are currently just shy of $4,800. So like I said, help us get to that $5,000 goal. We've got some group stretch goals involved with that too. So help us out. Help out the kids. It's a good time for everybody. So yeah, that was Extra Life. What else have you guys been up to over the last couple of weeks?
Not much. In game, I've just been leveling. Like I got my warrior to 70, and I got my samurai to 70, so I can be the ultimate weeaboo now.
Woo!
And other than that, I don't know if you guys have followed me on Twitter. I created a brand new RP FC on Hyperion.
You had some interesting applicants, it looked like.
Interesting is not the word I'd use, but that's a word. There is a very, which I've come to learn from other people who have ran into the same person, a very disgusting dirtbag of a human being that likes to go around saying very inappropriate things to people over Party Finder.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're from Famfrit, so sorry.
Damn it,
Step it up,
Flatus,
Famfrit.
behave yourself.
I was going to say, but I'm not on Fanpret.
But Flatus
No.
is, so.
No.
Just kidding, Flatus.
No, it's not Flatus.
I know.
I don't even care to remember his name, to be perfectly honest.
Hopefully you've got him blacklisted.
Blacklisted, yes, and reported.
Good. Yeah, people aren't very nice. There's
No,
been a lot of
they're
not nice people we've been finding, hasn't there been?
I don't know if it's just like something in the air or like
Because I think we should talk about this too, Luna.
what's the other thing?
You wanted to change your name back?
Oh, yeah. So in the community, in the Final Fantasy community, I'm known as Luna Vox. That's how people have recognized me. That's how people knew who I was at FanFest. That's how people know, like, if I run dungeons with them, they'll be like, "Oh, you're Luna Vox from Phoenix Sound Radio." I'm like, "Yep." Well, a month ago, I got in-game married, and I changed my last name to kind of match in-game husband deals. And when I started up my own FC again, I'm like, okay, so my name kind of has a little pull to it. It's how people know me. It's how people recognize who I am. I know it might sound a little pompous, but
Just a little, but that's okay.
I mean, it's a thing like a lot of professional women will keep their maiden name just because they've like built a name under it. It's pretty common.
yeah, exactly. Well, I went to go change my name back, and lo and behold, someone took the name Luna Vox. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Let's go look up on Mugstone who has it. And I thought it was just someone else with the same idea that I had. Like, hey, it's a cool name. Turns out not the case. Someone entirely replicated how my character in game looks, and on a free-to-play account named the character Lunavox.
That's weird.
Somebody just created a trial account. Level 1 has nothing been done to it. It's
nothing done. There was like 115 out of 330 XP on their Arcanist
level
trial,
1.
Which, by the way, I'm Scholar, so another coincidence there. But yeah, they ended up taking my name, and through some digging, I still don't know who it is, but I heard through the grapevine that they took my name because screw me, who cares, or whatever. They just didn't like me. And they even threatened to ransom my name, which, that's nice. I'm not going to give you jack shit, though.
Yeah, I would, if you figure out who it is, I would report it.
Oh, I already reported the Lodestone page.
So yeah, I mean, if you come across people like that, don't stand for that kind of stuff. People, let's be nice,
Yeah, don't be a dick to people. But yeah, I mean, if they want the name that badly, go ahead and freaking have it. Other than that, yeah, I just wonder how these people sleep at night, because how can you be such a piece of shit human being?
Yeah. It's not cool.
No.
I feel like you have to be pretty angry.
I'm upset.
No, I mean, I feel like they're probably just like this really angry person.
Yeah, they probably are. But you know what?
Sad, angry people.
But you know what? I'm always going to be Lunavox. No one can take that away from me. That's how people know me. That's how I've been known. Some dickbag with a complex isn't going to stop that.
Exactly. You're our Lunavox.
Yep. I mean, karma's a bitch, so.
Yeah, Kitchenu in chat saying you stole their boy toy or something.
Oh no, heaven forbid.
But yeah, I mean, let's not be dicks. Come on. All right.
Don't be a freaking dick.
Anyway, let's go ahead and move on.
Yeah, let's move on. Let's talk about happier things.
Yep. So let's talk about, you said you just started a new free company, and right before Stormblood dropped, we started a new free company here, Phoenix. We chose our name a little while ago, Phoenix Rising. So when we're recruiting, so I'm just going to throw this out there. If you're on Hyperion and want to join a small but friendly group of people with an amazing house, thanks Luna, let myself or Kane Thorbreaker know. We're also looking to putting on a holiday event around the Christmas time frame. So if you have any ideas or suggestions, we'd actually love to hear those. So let us know.
I have a few ideas.
I kind of figured you did. I mean, this house is designed to have events. So let's definitely I'd like to take advantage of that. So let's have something.
Yep.
And Luna, you talked about your free company. So anything else, guys, before we move on?
I cleaned out my room and finally redeemed the tokens for this thing.
Yay.
Only like a year late, guys.
Well, you've got until the end of the year, right?
Yeah. If anyone still has one of those leftover codes from the FanFest for your Tidus or Yuna outfits and your various minions, you have just under 2 months at this point.
Yep.
Don't forget about it. I actually did end up delaying long enough to lose the codes on another thing a while back, so it's easy to forget about it.
Yep, December 31st you've gotten, and then they expire, and then they're gone forever. But you'll always have the piece of paper or the email until you delete it or throw it away.
I've got those spare tokens on my account that I can't use.
Oh, I just don't know what I'm going to use those tokens on. The items just don't look good on me.
I bought both items.
That's a lot of work to glamour everything.
I made a Titus and a Yuna retainer, so
you could have the Tidus be your fisher. They're clearly going diving.
Don't even.
I bought both the Titus and Yuna outfit, and I've still got 4 dream tokens.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, what's going on, guys? It's totally the clothes' fault, Moogle. It's not my fault at all. Anyway, let's go ahead and continue on then. So, Dissidia Final Fantasy, they've announced that Golbez has been added to the Chaos team, And they showed a new stage. Those who played Final Fantasy XI will recognize the Stellar Fulcrum. That was kind of a cool-looking stage. You guys get a chance to take a look at that footage?
Pulling it up right now. Oh,
I have not because I don't really play, so.
There we go. I wasn't that into it with the demo, honestly. It just didn't grab me.
I'm trying to wait till the game comes out before I look up too much.
Let's see. There's Golbez. Ooh. Got some cool stuff going on with the dragon there.
But the Stellar Fulcrum stage looks really neat. Like I said, it kind of brings back some memories.
Yep. It's got that whole Zalarcian Sermet feel to it.
Yep. They also kind of showed some alternate costumes for Ultimecia and Cloud of Darkness as well. They made Cloud of Darkness look really slutty, I have to say.
Okay, now I have to look at this. Where do I find it?
Well, she always looked a bit slutty, to be honest.
Well, no, I mean, even more so. Even more so. Well, while Luna's looking that up, let's talk about Final Fantasy XV. The multiplayer is going to be opening up next week, November 15th. So for those of you guys who have played Final Fantasy XV, it takes place after Chapter 13 in-game, and players act as survivors from the Kingsglaive, working to find out more about the disappearance of Noctis. As members of Kingsglaive, players can equip various kinds of royal sigils that grant special powers from Aleutian bloodline. Other members of Noctis' crew, including Gladiolus, Prompto, and Ignis, will be made playable in future updates.
So it's a chance to kind of fill in the what was going on during that period.
Exactly. That was, I guess, I just finished that game during the Extra Life stream, and it was like, whoa, I did not see this coming. And yeah, but now it at least how they're integrating the multiplayer makes sense. I like that. So they did a good job there.
See how the actual gameplay turns out.
Yep. Speaking of how the actual gameplay turns out, Final Fantasy XV Pocket Edition early registration has been announced, and I don't know if I'm going to like how that's going to play.
The art has an interesting aesthetic to it. It's kind of a cute mobile game sort of thing. It's not that unusual for a mobile game.
But
I just hear the cringe in his voice.
If you haven't seen it yet, go look. It's kind of bad.
It is horrible.
If you're interested in those kinds of things or want to play as Noctis and crew on your mobile phone, it'll cost you about $14 to get all of the episodes. I think they have
first
10.
Stage free.
Yeah, the first stage is free, but then the rest of them will cost you money. If you can get them all for, I think it's $14, or you can buy them per episode.
Okay, yeah, I just looked up the.
I told you.
That's a really good price, though.
It is a decent price, but I guess I don't think that I want to pay $14 for something that I probably won't end up playing.
I mean, the art style really isn't that different from other mobile games.
I know. I'm trying to. It reminds me of something, but I can't freaking remember what.
Yeah, it's got a interest. I'm trying to picture it too, but it's yeah.
I want to say it kind of looked like Code Lyoko. If anyone remembers.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. That was terrible, though.
I know.
At least it's not as bad as Reboot, but Reboot actually kind of holds up a little bit.
Hey, Reboot was my friggin' jam back in the day.
We're old, Luna.
I know.
It wasn't nearly as good as Transformers Beast Wars.
Well,
Anyway, moving on. Some 14 news, excuse me. We just finished 15 news. Patch 4.15, there's a 15 for us. They gave us a preview out on the Lodestone. Yeah, they talk very little bit about the wings, the new...
Rival Wings.
Rival Wings, thank you. The new PvP. And
the MOBA.
Yeah, and then just a very little bit about what's the other thing we're supposed to be getting. See, that's how much I pay attention
the Bard performance.
And that's actually something I'm looking forward to. Why? But make it more exciting, please.
All right.
We got
Log Station Minion to whoever puts together the first performance of Freebird.
I was just gonna fucking say that, Sarah. God damn it.
and uploads it to YouTube for everybody to see. Just like Yoshi said not to.
As I said on Maelstrom Radio, I hope I can get a Tom Brown at one point, and so I can just follow a Rogue Aiden and go do 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 do.
Oh,
Yeah, I want that just so my Lalafan can follow.
Basically,
Rose with that.
you're going to play the fat chocobo theme around
Yeah.
every time?
Yep, anytime I
Rude.
see a Rogan.
Yeah. All right.
don't body shame the Rogadin.
Some other information we got regarding 4.15 is it's scheduled to be released November 21st. So very soon.
Week and a
it's-
half.
Yep. And there's been no word on if we're getting the relic weapon during this.
Well, of course
Patch.
not. It's not till 4.2.
Well, we'll get into that, but like I said, they're talking more about other relic things for 4.2. And I remember them talking in a previous interview that they're going to be separating the relic weapon from Eureka at this point because, they because of the delay.
Yeah, where the
Yes.
fuck is Eureka?
We'll be talking about that here in a bit.
It's coming.
And then we also got the start of the Final Fantasy XI crossover event.
Yeah, Final Fantasy XI is having its 15th anniversary, I believe.
Yes. God, it's been that long.
Yeah.
That's insane. 15 years of Final Fantasy XI. So they brought back the event with what's her face?
Iroha.
Thank you. And if you've already
Someone
done it,
didn't play Rhapsodies of Vanity.
I haven't played since Final Fantasy 14 1.0 came out. All right.
They're having a free login period in case you really want to go back and see what's happened there.
Yeah, I don't want to spend 2 weeks downloading the game to this computer. And sadly, I'm probably not that far off. I mean, I remember when I installed it on my last PC, which it is still installed on, but it took like 8 hours, I think. Play online
faster these
was
days.
no. Play online is some bullshit.
Oh, well, yeah.
The update process for that is just horrible, and yeah.
But at least you got that amazing music.
I always switched it up to Dolphin, I think it was called. I changed the default song all the time. I didn't like the whatever one that.
Well, I played it for years. I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah, I found that real early on. So, anyway,
Hey, guys, let's have a huge argument about the ethical implications of Windower.
hey, Windower was amazing when you only had one monitor.
Yeah.
I know. I must admit, I remember when I first started 11. Still, the first time I logged in, I shouted out because I couldn't remember how to move. I couldn't remember what the keys were to move.
And the fact that I couldn't remember how to create macros and keybinds and all that, I can't go back. I'm sorry. I played that game for years and years and years. Like I said, since PS2 beta, and I haven't played it in 7 years now. So yeah,
I'll probably go and check it out, but I remember for a while I was jumping back and forth between 11 and 14, and oh my god, the muscle memory betrayed me every time.
God, I remember.
Do a
Like,
skill
I went over
chain.
to your house one time, and you were playing 11 one time, and like you missed a drop or something, and that's all I know about 11. That's all.
and it was terrible because when you lost on a drop in 11, it usually took you about 3 or 4 days to get back to the point where you could try for it again.
Assassin's Armlets actually ended a Dynamis Link shell I was in.
Yeah, it's yeah. All right, so if you've already done the event, there's nothing extra for you to do. It's just for if you have not done it yet, or if you have an alt that you're playing on, you can enjoy the whole thing
Like
again.
I did.
Oh, I guess I
No
didn't
word
go
yet
on
on if they'll do a reprise of the Shantoto event.
That would be
People are
fun.
hopeful, but
All right. So, hopefully what everybody is here for, this amazing interview that came out from this really obscure source over in the UK.
Well, I didn't know Kotaku was England.
you're the best, Chille.
Are we talking about the thing you posted about that emote that's for ERP?
Yeah, those. It's so
That-
lewd.
That entire article.
Thanks to Mouse and Radio, by the way, for pointing that article out. People will compare it, saying that the Crucible is the best because of it. So at least the Crucible looks up information when they write it, unlike Kotaku, it seems.
But no, we're not talking about that because Kotaku is just bad. An article came out on Thursday from a website, psu.com. Gee, I wonder where we've heard that before. Chille.
I wonder. I don't know.
Do you do something with a P and an S and a U in the name?
Yeah, I do a podcast.
In polite company?
Only when I ask.
Oh my. But no,
I need their consent first.
Chille is a contributing game reviewer and writer for PSU.com. He does a podcast, PlayStation Unchained, over there. They talk about PlayStation stuff. And
optimal use of the warrior ability Unchained, I can only assume.
No.
No, I was reading the Superman Unchained comic. I thought that would be good.
Oh, also good.
Because our website's called PlayStation Universe, so I was trying to think of a word that would be like shortened down to PSU.
Ah, that makes sense.
And as our previous podcast before this was called Derailed, I thought that kind of...
Derailed, you guys? Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
No.
I know.
Anyway, we're talking about this article here that I just linked in the Twitch chat, not the Discord chat. So in the article,
you definitely need the link because there were a lot of interviews this week.
Yes, we got links to all the interviews we'll be talking about today. 4 of them, in fact. But we're going to be talking about this one in depth. And biggest reason behind that, Chille, you had some help with this interview, didn't you?
Yeah, I asked around the community for questions from people. Well, from some people. From other people, I just told them the fact that I heard their show and I realised that they had some decent questions that I thought I'd push forward. Like, there was one question from Flatters that he's been mentioning on Maelstrom Radio several times. So I thought I'd ask him if I could submit that. But then I also asked a few friends if they would want to submit some questions.
Yeah, some friends that are on a podcast with you.
Yeah.
Oh my God, class!
It was us. Yes, it was us. And actually, a large number of the questions from that interview came from myself, Sarah, and Luna. So we were very excited. You had asked us in the past to submit some questions for another interview that they were doing. It was
which didn't get to happen.
No, they didn't get that one. Didn't get to. But fortunately, a lot of the questions were still valid for this, so we resubmitted those, and lo and behold, every single question we asked was answered.
Yeah, I was a little surprised at that.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and get into it.
I did the best I could.
You did an amazing job, Chille. Thank you. So the first question that we talked about was the housing question. And because now
it was kind of the question on everyone's mind at that point.
A little bit of a background on this. We submitted these questions to Chille almost a month ago.
Yeah. So there was some bits that we didn't know about then. Exactly.
So keep that in mind when you talk about the answers that we got to this. So nothing had been talked about with housing at that point. So we had just talked about housing on the show.
Yeah. Hell, I didn't even know it was going to Yoshi P, if I'm honest.
Yeah. You thought it was... Go ahead.
The only thing I was told was I got sent an email by the PR around the same time as 4.1 came out. And they said, we might be able to do an interview. You can submit it to the devs. Would you like to do it? So I said, yeah, sure. That's when blah, blah, blah. And then I submitted it, waited. I actually emailed them this week to make sure that, things were going on. That's when I got the answer back. I had no idea it was Yoshi. I just thought it's some generic dev team members. Well,
I mean, really, none of them are generic. They're all special.
Exactly.
In another way, Yoshi is most special.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So the first...
I wasn't expecting the big honcho.
Right. So the first question that we asked about was because, housing was the big thing at the time. In regards to housing, you recently posted on the official forums that you and your team didn't anticipate the sheer demand for new housing in the game. You also announced that additional awards would be implemented around patch 4.2. We greatly appreciate that you're working to address this. However, it seems like just adding additional wards will not cover the demand on many servers for private and free company housing. Are there plans to update the housing system in other ways to allow all players the chance to own a home within the game? Now, here's what he came back with. I first want to...
Here, I'll read just so we don't have the same voice for everything. Makes it easier to follow.
Okay.
I first want to apologize to all of the players and free companies who are unable to purchase land and to whom we caused a lot of stress due to the shortage of housing plots. And we've seen a lot of this before. Like, they recognize that there's an issue.
Yep.
The development team is already working on adding more plots for patch 4.2, but we are also planning to introduce new processes to the plot purchase specifications. We're unable to provide details now, but we will be able to update everyone as we get closer to the release of patch 4.2. It would be greatly appreciated if you could wait a little longer.
Yep. Now, this was a question that was also addressed in another interview, and we'll talk a little bit, expand about that a little bit as well. But they are really looking at it.
Yeah, the plot purchase specifications phrase is the thing that seems kind of interesting to me. Like, what exactly does that? Something in regards to how it's bought? I know some people have asked about, like, limiting purchases by alts or other things like that, and I wonder if that might be related.
Yep. But yeah, like I said, there was another interview asked a similar question, and there was some additional information that was put into that interview. So we'll talk about that when we get there. Like I said, the answer that we got here didn't go into any much more detail than what we had already known, with the exception of, you know, that they're working on other pieces as well. So, with each new expansion, we have received new Disciples of War and Magic to take into battle, but the number of crafting and gathering jobs has remained the same since the game's initial release in 2010. Has there been any consideration given to adding new Disciples of the Hand and Land? How do you plan on keeping crafting and gathering from becoming stale and repetitive?
All right. We do not have any plans to introduce new Disciples of the Hand and Land at the moment. We feel there are already a wide variety of crafting and gathering classes available to players, and there is a high possibility that any new classes would only fill a lesser role in comparison to the current classes.
All right, let's talk about this a little bit first.
I mean, that is a fair point. Like, add a new craft or a new gathering thing, you'd need to actually give it a meaningful role in the equipment people use or the items, or like, and I'm not quite sure what's left to cover.
Yeah, I mean, looking at how they talk about it, it would be difficult to make, you know, a new one relevant without making the old ones irrelevant.
Right.
But I mean, like I said, it was a question that, you know, hadn't been asked at the time, and we wanted to, you know, see if there was any plans on changing the system. Like, we got the addition of the specialization system.
Yeah, hey, we don't have to worry about justifying it, like talking about the basics, and they go into a little more depth.
Yep.
So understanding a little bit of their thought process, sometimes it's just as useful to know why they're not considering a particular thing.
Yep, and that's one thing I actually
appreciate. I actually appreciate a lot about this dev team, about Yoshi P. They don't just say, hey, we're not going to do this, but they'll get into a little bit about, this is why we think it wouldn't work.
Yep.
So if they're... that does open up the possibility for, if people can say, hey, this is a thing that might get around that. Like, it does become a little bit more of that back and forth that I think the community appreciates.
Yep. If you want to continue on.
So he then went on to say, we would also need to make major changes to current recipes to have them incorporate items from new classes and create demand for items a new class could craft or gather. These are the main reasons why we currently are not planning for additions. However, it is not to say that it is an impossibility if the right idea comes to mind. And that, again, is a bit more of, so if you add in, say, a new gathering class, the items that it gathers, you need, it's not like it's going to be something where, okay, it just shows up with the level 70 items. You need to find stuff to integrate it all the way through. And that becomes something that once you have an already existing system, adding stuff onto it gets really, really complex. I know, like, the crafting system in World of Warcraft is a lot less complicated. Like, weaving materials usually just use cloth. We have something that focuses a little more on realism, uses inputs from multiple crafts, and so as a result of that complexity, you have this more like interlocking system that it becomes harder to add parts to.
It's very intricate.
Which, like any kind of intricate machine, trying to just add on additional pieces to it, not an easy task.
And this
What are you
last one
saying? I'm not going to get my sheep shearing class.
No.
Probably.
Oh.
Now they do say they're saying that they're not opposed to the idea. It's more, as I said, it's not an impossibility if the right idea comes to mind.
And the right
so the impression I
implementation.
get is that they're not opposed to the idea. It's more that they say this is a thing that is a really major problem, an obstacle in that. If a way could be found to do it that wouldn't run into that problem, then hey, that could be cool. But you need to find a way around that problem first. And then went on to say that the fundamental activities of the Disciples of the Hand are to become involved in the economy after fully leveling up the class. However, we are currently investigating ways to introduce new recipes or fun ways to use the class to create additional goals and playstyles for the Disciples of the Hand.
Hamlet defense! Hamlet defense!
Hamlet defense is kind of the classic example for that.
Yeah.
I've come up with a new recipe.
Oh my god.
All right,
Episode
Chille
Ignis
Ignis.
is going to fail because there is no cooking minigame.
All right.
Or maybe not. So yeah, again, for people who level craft, the big point is participate in the economy, play money-making game. And there are certainly a lot of people who get their kicks out of that.
Yep. I mean,
But it seems like they want to give some other options just to keep it fun.
yeah, I mean, it was really cool to hear the explanation of why things are the way they are. So it was, I really appreciated the honesty behind the question. Or behind the answer to the question.
Like, they engage seriously with the question, even if it's something that they're not going to do.
Yep. It wasn't a blatant no. Next question. All right. Speaking of next question, inside of Final Fantasy XIV, there are a number of players that categorize themselves as role players who act out scenarios within the game as their character. During patch 3.4, the RP tag was implemented to let others know that we are interested in role-playing scenarios. What other ideas are the developers considering to help these players become more immersed within the world of Final Fantasy XIV?
This question.
I suddenly became a Balmong owner because of that question.
Yeah,
Thanks,
apparently
Luna.
only people from Balmung would ask this question.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Luna. Kidding.
Oh.
Kidding.
Including the new performance actions for Bard, which will be released with patch 4.15, we have a solid roadmap of what roleplay-related elements we will be implementing in future updates. Similar to performance actions, we are continuing to put effort into implementing features that allow players a chance to create their own type of fun within the game. I hope that you enjoy these features and use them to enhance in-game role-playing even further.
I like that he really got into that question and said, yes, we do know that there are a lot of role players within the game that are using it just for more than the story. They're creating their own stories, and they're going to engage them.
He was rather scant on the specifics.
Yeah, but he's saying that they are working on it.
Yeah, like it was like he did say that, hey, we're doing stuff with this. But yeah, really didn't say much about it other than, yes, we're doing this.
Moogle, let's do that next time. Let's ask if they'll put a honeymoon option to the in-game weddings.
That's one question I thought about afterwards, to be honest. There's a few questions that after I spent the interview that I really wanted to ask.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask about the anniversary stuff because I've been married in game for 2 years. Next year will be my 3rd year. It'd be nice if there'd be something that we could do or get to celebrate our anniversary.
Some sort of expansion upon the Eternal Bondage ceremony, right?
Yeah.
I thought they said they were going to do something like that.
They did, but then we've heard nothing. That's what I was kicking myself. There's like 3 or 4 questions that I thought
So,
that would
second
be
year,
good.
the second year traditional gift is cotton, so maybe you can make some pretty clothes.
I'm just thinking
Or ask her if
something
if this smells like chloroform.
Oh my god, Cloud.
That is not how romantic getaways work.
It's how they end.
Oh.
All
But
right.
seriously,
PBR is now problematic something radio. I don't know what the D stands for. Oh god, no.
You know what the D stands for. Oh my. Oh.
that place. Someone,
So anyways,
All right,
next
so
question.
we went to ERP on that one.
What does the D stand for, guys?
While the
what
diadem,
does the D stand for?
Yeah, the D stands for diadem. Next question.
while the diadem was a daring step towards new content in Final Fantasy XIV, it seems like many players didn't feel a strong incentive to stick with it for the long haul. What lessons have you learned from Diadem, and what kinds of changes can we expect to see when Eureka is implemented? What challenges have you encountered that has delayed its release until 4.2?
Now, this was the one that I personally found the most interesting.
Yeah.
This can be said for Diadem as well, but when creating content for Final Fantasy XIV, we don't envision anything we make as content we want people to continue playing for an exceptionally long time. We have designed the game in a way that entices players to strive for high item level weapons or equipment, or enjoy the aspect of leveling up with our content updates. Since there is a level cap in the game, coupled with the fact that we increase the item level on equipment with our updates, it really is hard to imagine content existing that can be played for an extended period of time.
But now go ahead.
Now that I have to say, again, coming from something like 11, where it's like 7, 8 years on and people were still running Dynamis or farming King Behemoth or things like that, the idea of someone saying, yeah, we expect that people are going to eventually outgrow this content and it won't be done much anymore.
Yeah, I mean, though, I think what kind of upsets me more with that particular part of the answer is the fact that, they're basically taking this content that they created and they're like, okay, it's going to die.
Yeah, everything dies.
Okay, this will be good for 2 weeks, then bye.
I mean, that's it. We didn't get very much out of Diadem.
Everything dies, Klaus.
God.
I mean, the only thing that Diadem is currently good for right now is for Gathering.
I can repeat, everything dies until this becomes our most morbid episode ever.
Dead anyway.
We're already dead.
You're just waiting for you to realize it?
Exactly.
Phoenix dead.
But I mean, this is the thing. Like, if you unless you put it in a situation where people feel like they have to run it, why should it necessarily go on forever? Yeah, there was work put into it, but why should it necessarily be the case that something is forever a thing that people are running?
Forever and ever.
That kind of makes me. I kind of want to debate this now.
Do it. Do it. Do it.
Oh,
Bring
okay.
it.
So I'm thinking about it, and people get hard-ons for classic games, right? Right? And we don't ask for content updates on those or anything. Do you think because we're an MMO in this day and age, like, do you think that we're getting spoiled and that we demand more content updates to keep us entertained?
I don't know about that. I mean, part of it honestly just feels like the nature of this game. Like, those classic games, they're also something that's not designed for you to be playing it continuously for months or years upon end. There's something where you, like, play through a batch of it, and maybe you come back to it several years down the line, but that's different from something you've been playing consistently that entire time. Also, I'd point out that some of them actually do get... I'm thinking specifically of, like, the Secret of Mana revamp that's going to be coming out for 3DS, was it? Very soon, where I went back and played the original Secret of Mana with a friend of mine who was interested in a lot of those classic SNES RPGs, and we gave up on it in frustration after realizing that, like, no, the hit detection really was that bad. Like, stuff like that, where it's like, yes, there's a lot of these classic memories, but at the same time, some of the sensibilities do change a little bit, and maybe you do need to, it does get changed in various ways to match those modern sensibilities.
All right. Well, I'm going to kind of play a little devil's advocate, talking about, you saying everything dies, though the developers really do spend a lot of time funneling people back into old content, though, still. Granted, yes, it's for people who are coming into the game to start with, but, the fact that they're still wanting people to play that content, that only some content is, stuff they want people to play, but other content is they're just going to let die.
Yeah. I mean, it may be a thing where if we're going to go with the morbid analogies here, then maybe you turn it into triage. You can't save everything. What's the stuff that's most important? What's the stuff that's most iconic to the experience?
Verminion!
Fake!
That was totally fake. Anyway, should we continue on with his answer?
Sure. But so yeah, I thought that was really interesting. Just this thing that you hear so little of this acknowledgement. That's like, yes, some stuff is going to become obsoleted. That is the nature of the beast here. Like he acknowledged it in very frank terms, and I actually really appreciated that.
Yeah, I mean, I do front him for being he was very blunt and forward with a lot of the answers that we got in this interview. So go ahead. Continue.
And I mean, I think traditionally for a lot of stuff, gamers have not always been terribly receptive to the idea that the industry and the design maybe does not work the way they like. Anyways, we tried a few different things with the diadem. In the first iteration, we focused on content where players farmed enemies without many clear objectives, and then toyed with the idea of having players complete objectives with a big surprise waiting for them in the form of a monster. Eureka was developed based on our experiences from creating that content. The idea behind Eureka is to give players the opportunity to experience content that has a completely different set of battle rules from field or instant content. However, it has been taking us time to develop due to its scale and completely new system. It shouldn't be much longer, though.
Okay, so hopefully we see this in 4.2.
It does sound like whatever else was going on, they did at least pay attention to what people were doing with Diadem and how they related to and reacted to it.
So please look forward to it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
some of that.
Not a lot of specifics about it again. A little bit about the lessons learned, which was nice.
All right. And next question. Throughout A Realm Reborn and Heavensward, we have seen great improvements to the crafting system and inventory management, such as the ability to search the market boards and retainer inventories for specific items. With the new server upgrades, what kind of quality of life adjustments do you see as a possibility? For example, would it be feasible to be able to craft items from materials still in your retainer's inventory?
Oh my god, Klaus, you just had to get that in there, didn't you?
Of course he did. Of course. You know if you
Come
got
on.
the chance.
It's an amazing idea.
I'm sure, of course, you are a completely neutral judge in this matter.
Absolutely.
So anyways, the development team are aiming to increase usability on two fronts. The first is the development of a large-scale and new system surrounding the glamour system and player inventories. Now, I know there's been Sarah speaking now, I know there's been a lot of speculation about this. Some people are hoping this is the glamour wardrobe that there's been a lot of questions about and asking about. The second is allowing for players to manage their retainer's inventory, chat with friends, and plan out schedules without having to log into the game. This would be through a companion app on smartphones. I believe we'll be able to release more details on this soon. I hope you'll look forward to it. And that's another one they've talked a little bit about before, so It seems like this is something they really want to emphasize.
I mean, they've been topping out the smartphone app since, like, 2.0 came out.
You know, that kind of makes me wonder, like, if you're going to be able to talk to, like, people in your LS and whatnot, for people like me, I log in to do social stuff. I log in here to talk to friends. I don't have to do that.
Well, you still have to maintain an active sub in order to keep using it.
Well, true,
but you might not be actually logging in as often, is what you're saying.
Yeah, pretty much. Because here, let me look really quickly. This is gonna be horrible. I'm looking on my Steam account because I play Final Fantasy through Steam. I have 12,161 hours on a. Yeah.
Is that all?
That's all.
Just do a slash playtime.
Let's not get into the EP in here.
Slash what?
Was it slash playtime?
Slash playtime.
That'll give it to you in days.
490 days, 4 hours, 9 minutes.
I think you're actually past me now.
Yes, more than me.
606 days.
I can't check mine right now because we're in the middle of a show.
Oh, how dare you?
And I'm on a different character.
Yeah. I mean, add a few days to mine for the Yokai Watch farming on that alt.
Yeah.
But
what the hell was I thinking? Anyways.
I mean, what were we talking about? Yeah. Anyway.
The idea of it being something where
yes.
if you're using it largely as... Like, I know people who do use the game largely as a glorified chat app, and maybe they wouldn't be coming in as much.
I just said that.
Right. Well, besides you. I have other friends, Luna.
No way.
Yeah, I made them up.
Well, the one thing that you can do in the game that you can't do on the smartphone app is redecorate your house. Oh, over and over
Damn
again.
you, Klaus!
So yes, we'll keep you in the game.
You can chat with people. It's not the same, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean,
You chat with the avatar in the game. You're not just talking to the. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
a
But
little bit. It'll be a different experience at least, and I think for people who maybe don't do as much content, it'll change the way they play it.
Yeah,
Plus,
I'm go ahead.
I generally doubt there's going to be any. It's probably just going to be your link shows and your free company that you can chat with.
Yep. More than likely.
Yeah.
And friends
So
list.
if you want to have a hilarious shout war in the middle of Idleshire, how will you do it?
Right?
Sign in.
Please don't have shout wars in the middle of Idleshire, or Mordona, or
Have shout
Kugane, or
wars.
Ralger's Reach.
All the shout wars.
I
Do it on the Azim step.
I go to Limsa Lominsa for my shout wars.
And you shout
There we go.
You shout at the RMTs.
Yes.
Very nice. All right, now this is the question that has gotten a lot of response in the community. Very proud of this question. It was mentioned in an earlier interview, yes, Happy, we meant you, that you have thought about the idea of relic armor that can grow and improve with your character through completing quests and running content. Something akin to the Zodiac and Anima weapon quests we currently have. Have you had any more thoughts about how this type of gear could be implemented within Final Fantasy XIV?
All right. Yes, we actually already have solidified our plans for this. This content will be packaged within the Forbidden Land of Eureka content, and thus will be implemented at the same time.
That's probably the most upfront answer we've ever seen in an interview.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
that's the one question I was going to answer, and no matter what, because I was really looking forward to the armor.
Yeah.
Yep. And I mean, I'm guessing it's because it's something where they actually do have the plan solidified. Like, this happens with development all the time. Game development, where they have some plan for something, they test something out, turns out it doesn't work, and people get very, very upset that they went back on their promise or did whatever that it didn't happen.
Yeah.
And so they're often very cagey about announcing something if they aren't 100% sure it's going to happen.
But the fact that they actually said, yes, we've already got it done, and here it is, they're not waiting to announce it on the lodestone or in a preview, you know, that they did it through an interview, which is, I thought, really freaking cool.
Yeah. I forget who of us asked about that, but I know I've always just liked the entire idea of equipment that grows with you in general.
Well, that
So
was the question I was thinking of anyway, so...
Yeah, I think
Because
that's
I've been
one
looking-
that I wrote up towards the end there before you snagged it. But regardless, like I said, it's... You know,
I think a lot of us were interested in that.
yeah, I mean...
Especially as they talked about it being like a... I can't remember. I'm sure this was a thing where they've talked about the fact that the base armor would be based on one of your favorite pieces of equipment, sort of like a glamoury system.
Yeah, I like I said, I remember they talked about that, and I want to say it was Happy's interview a while back where they first mentioned it.
No, it was mentioned way before that, and I'm sure.
Because
But he's sort of brought it forward a bit more because there's always been sort of like teasers of it. Because that's one thing I've been paying a lot of attention to is the armor. They've been teasing it quite a bit. Just this is the first time it's been officially sort of yes. It's just been like, oh, maybe we thought about it, we heard about it, but maybe we don't know.
But no, I'm glad they figured
happy I
something
finally
out
got
that
the
works
yes.
for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the weapons have been something that you work with and hang on to for a very long time, but the armor always seems to be a secondary thought.
I just want to glow like a firefly.
Oh my
Because,
god.
I mean, you know, we've already been putting nascent intelligences into our swords and our bows and our staves. Why not into our underwear? What's the worst that could happen?
Eternal wedgies.
You know that whole thing about how, like, Facebook is constantly monitoring all the things? They're probably not actually using your microphone, but they might be. I don't know. Well, now your pants can do it too.
But all it wants from you is cat pictures.
I maybe did a
I get
dramatic
that
reading of
reference.
a story before the thing started. That is an
Yeah.
actual reference.
Yes.
If they make fiery pants, you can go liar, liar, pants on fire.
Yeah.
I mean it literally.
Literally.
But we have no telephone wires from which to hang things.
Oh my god.
We can invent them. We have crafters.
We can
I
make
feel
it.
like-
We can make it stronger, faster, better, linear.
Burnier.
I feel like this will be a goldsmithing job. I mean, we want copper wire. Well, Well, that's for electricity, but if it's etheric transmission, I'm overthinking this.
All right, so those are the questions that we submitted.
Woodworking and Goldsmith.
Probably. And Alchemist, too.
Yeah.
Anyway, those were the questions that we submitted, and the rest of these came from other people in the community and from Chille as well. This one, I believe, was the one that had come from Flatus on a Maelstrom Radio, correct?
Yep.
All right, so this question, we would love to see some improvements with the current FC system. It feels more like simply a chat system more than an actual clan. Is it possible, for example, to include a calendar so that players can schedule events in-game?
I've mentioned this in a previous answer, but we have decided to consolidate these features into a companion app instead of implementing them directly into the game. A calendar, chat functionality, and more will be free features available within this app.
All right.
So it sounds like, again, they have an idea if they want to do it, but they want it to be in this particular location.
This one, I don't think they really answered the heart of the question, though.
That happens, yeah. This one I saw there was a bit of grousing about. Yep.
Because mainly he was wondering, is there something we can do to make free companies more relevant within the game?
Yeah,
Aside
instead
from,
of like, oh yeah, we can make it relevant, just not in the game. Go do it somewhere else.
You can do the same things you can do in the game on your smartphone. Yeah. That doesn't really answer the question there, unfortunately.
Well, at least we'll get a calendar, though. At least that's something.
Though, I mean, one thing about that, looking at the question, I'd have to ask, what exactly would make it feel more like a clan? Like, thinking about it, it's kind of a vague question. Like, do you know what it is that you said? Like, the ideas of what would make it feel more clan, like, I think are going to be important.
Yeah, I mean, expounding upon the things that you're looking for versus just asking the question. You know, he went off of...
I just want a calendar.
I'll buy you a calendar.
I'd like a sundial for the FC front yard.
That would be cool.
Yeah. Well,
speaking of housing items, we'll talk about it after.
Yeah, because some cool stuff was announced today. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Next question. You recently made changes to the warrior job that has caused some Dark Knights to now feel slightly less useful in the endgame scene, with certain moves like Dark Passenger feeling much less useful. Are there any plans to address these potential balance issues?
While we are always looking closely at community opinions on adjustments, the team currently feels that these recent changes have not made a largely visible disparity between the classes. Many players are tackling the unending coil of Bahamut Ultimate, and the trends in strategy and party composition is also a big indicator for us as well. However, I do not think it wrong to say that the contribution Warrior can now bring with Shake It Off is more visibly apparent when compared to Dark Knight. Now, I saw people being concerned about this because I know the world first clear for Unending Coil did include a Dark Knight in the party, who apparently said that they chose it because they like playing Dark Knight, which I absolutely approve of that attitude.
That is the best way to play a game.
Yes.
Yeah. But I know some players were also concerned that they were going to see that and then say, oh, look, Dark Knight is fine, no problem. And that's not the impression I had. The impression I had is, hey, like, right now we think things are all right, but they're going to look at, like, the composition in general, not just one clear, but as more clears happen, is there a particular favorite? Is there a way that things swing?
So it's basically get good, scrub.
No. You're the worst, Klaus. Like, the worst.
No, there's a lot worse than me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here.
What do you mean? You submitted this awesome interview. You're awesome.
But it does seem something like where it's partly hey, we are kind of early in the cycle. Give it a time to see how things actually shake out.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing, just because it's not the way exactly that you want it, doesn't mean that it's wrong.
Yeah. They are noting that the boost that Warrior got with the improvements to Shake It Off is a very visible boost. Yeah. And so maybe that the feeling is, hey, there may be stuff that makes Dark Knight good, but that it's not as visible. Yeah. Like, it's not necessarily as immediately apparent.
Exactly.
We'll see how it actually turns out, of course.
All right. Next question. Players have voiced that the current crafting meta has a few problems, with the 2-star crafts being incredibly difficult compared to new crafted items in previous patches. This is making macros almost useless. Was there a reason this change was made?
This was done to create motivation for players to challenge themselves on the highest level of crafting. There are conflicting requests from players. Some would like us to create recipes that are even more difficult, while others wish for more casual crafting that can be done using macros. It is an extremely tough decision to make, one way or the other. One of the aims that we have when releasing different types of content is to find out what the players' sentiment and trends are. We would greatly appreciate continued feedback on this.
I have to agree with Yoshi on this.
Nope. Everyone wants different things. Make up your mind, bitches. I could totally see, like, the players who can do the most advanced crafting stuff, I'm sure they would love it if there's lots and lots of hard stuff that none of their competitors can do.
Mm-hmm. And then they can make 9 billion gil.
Okay, this question was submitted by my one of our free company members. I asked some of my static for some questions if they wanted to me asked, and one of our crafting free company members suggested they would like some question on the crafting meta. So I wrote this up for them.
Okay.
So I don't craft, but I wanted to at least have something from different areas of the game that people do play in. Because, again, I don't do it, but I'd rather be able to voice their opinion.
I mean, that's one thing I noticed in the interview is a lot of the questions weren't just about fighting or about story progression or things like that. It included some of the alternate areas that people use this game for that aren't as visible to people.
I'm hoping they enjoyed the opportunity to talk about some of the other systems.
Yep. I mean, like I said, not every question deals with everybody who plays the game, and that's the way these things should be. Everybody should have, something that they can glean from this interview and say, wow, they're doing something about this thing that I enjoy that other people don't. Cool. Thank you.
I still think it's hilarious that people assume that you must be a role player because you asked a role-playing question.
Yeah, I'm from Beaumont now, guys.
Mm-hmm.
I am a true ERP in Lalafell. I'm Beaumont. Lala long leg.
Oh my god.
Lala McThird leg.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
I
think we're off some lists.
Well,
but no, she crafts my raid food, so I had to do something.
But no, I mean, talking about this a little bit, though, and going on the answer, I agree. The really difficult stuff should be difficult to craft. You shouldn't be able to macro it. It should be based on, the indicators that you get from your status. And, if you fail or succeed, if you get an excellent or if you get a poor, you should, as a high-end crafter, you should be able to, feel all those different variables and push through it.
The issue is not just that; it's just when you have to craft it. Yeah, like she does the raid food. It takes
how many dishes is she making? How long to do each one with that full rotation?
Though that stuff shouldn't necessarily be considered the high-end stuff,
but, those high-end, it's still some of the high-end stuff because you still need specialists. They take 40. The food takes 40 to 45 steps.
And if you make changes for that one, you end up making it so that culinarian is not as valuable one as the other crafts.
Okay, I guess I figured that some of the foods weren't nearly as difficult as some of the high-end gear that you're making, where you only do one or two of them.
No, the food is almost the same.
Then I would have almost specified that. Yeah,
the big difference is not the difficulty of the recipe; it's the sourcing of the ingredients.
Yeah,
and the amount of time invested in order to use it, and then the output you get from it, because most people are crafting it for themselves or for their FC mates, or if you're trying to sell it on the market board, you're actually not making a huge profit on it.
No.
Really. I've occasionally gotten some surprising amounts from just some of the most random foods. I guess people who want something but aren't necessarily going for the top tier food, if they have something that's passable, they're willing to go for it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So
I wonder who thought about this next question.
Yeah, I don't know. Do we have anybody who plays Monk around here?
Punch things.
Anybody? Anybody at all?
I like punching things.
Yeah.
Usually it's me though.
So anyways,
things.
As a monk,
let's not talk about anything where there's a statute of limitations.
Chille. We feel like the job has been somewhat left behind since Stormblood's launch in terms of job balance changes. We feel tackle mastery is redundant, and Brotherhood also seems to have limited use unless there's a certain party composition. We love the role of monk, and given that Stormblood feels to be a monk-focused expansion, will we see any changes at all? Maybe even that rumored Grease Lightning 4?
And I'm still kicking myself for saying that.
Yeah, because that's the thing. When you ask a multi-part question in this style of interview where it's being done by correspondence, they will often choose which bit of the question they answer. I mean, still an interesting answer, but...
To be fair, I'm happy about the answer, but the main thing I cared about was Brotherhood and... Well, we'll let you say it, sir.
Yeah, it did not touch on the bits that people really wanted, so it's felt that there was a bit of a missed opportunity here. Here we are. The idea for Grease Lightning 4 was heavily debated within the development team during our work on Stormblood. If we were to implement a new level for Grease Lightning, we would have to consider the following. With additional stacks, the number of times an attack can be executed within a certain amount of time will increase. So in order to keep balance, we would have to lower the potency of weapon skills.
Whoa!
2. Executing actions will become even more hectic for monks, and the disparity between player skill will become even more apparent. These two, and that's definitely something they've talked about. They want to have it so that skillful players can still perform well, but there's not necessarily a huge gap in performance just based on the player skill. So, like, kind of bringing up the players who are a little bit lower there. These two major issues would occur, and so we decided not to move forward with the idea. I understand the desire to improve gameplay, and I'm still very conflicted about this. However, we are continuing discussions within the development team on this topic. With the upcoming...
Okay.
And then a little bit more just the basic. With the upcoming new PvP mode hitting us very soon, and the recently released new hardcore content, The Unending Coil of Bahamut, it's clear to see that Square Enix's development team have taken player feedback on forum and really listened to the community. If you have something you wish to be added to the game, think about posting it on the official forum, as they do listen. Who is this? Wait, was this actually what he said?
Yes.
Oh, that's what I said.
Huh. Who knows?
That was me.
Oh, that was you?
Okay.
Okay.
That was me. That was at the end of the...
Oh, gotcha.
Okay. So, yeah. I think, again, this was something where people really wanted some of those specifics about what are you going to do. And it's more saying, yeah, it's like, yeah, we're thinking about this, but not wanting to get too much into the details. Which is aggravating when what everyone's... Like, there's a lot of uncertainty. There's being dissatisfied with it, but not being quite sure about what they might do, if it's going to fix it. And so everyone really wants those details, but they don't want to release that stuff early, have it picked apart.
Delete Tackle Mastery, buff Brotherhood.
Delete Monk.
Rude.
I thought this was going to turn into one of those delete Facebook hit the gym things.
Delete your character, unsub, uninstall. No, just kidding.
Wow, Klaus.
But no,
but
go ahead.
I mean, like, the action and the reasoning on Greased Lightning, you could probably actually extend to changes to other jobs. They don't want it to become something where it might be a cool buff, but it also makes the class so much more complicated. I was thinking, actually, since I've been playing Black Mage, what if they were to add another level of Astral Fire and Umbral Ice? And I suppose the only... So, just as a thought experiment, it wouldn't necessarily change the cast times, because the different layers of it, the only thing that changes is the damage, right?
I think so. I don't play Black Mage.
What are you talking about? Oh, Black Mage, okay, yeah. It's just the cast time, I think.
In the potency.
So if you talk about Monk changes skill. It changes a lot of things with Grease Lightning.
Yeah. So I mean, something where it's just changing the potencies, then maybe you play around with it a little bit. But yeah, something where it's going to actually massively change. Like if you have those actions coming out that much faster. Interesting point.
But yeah, Brotherhood just makes me like today. I was doing O3S today, and one of our DPS didn't turn up, and we got a mage instead. I'm sat here thinking, I'm completely useless, aren't I? Because we've got two mages, a bard, and the two warriors, and me. Well, unless I'm lucky and the bard gets close enough for Brotherhood, that's only a little bit of extra damage for the tanks. Yay!
Plus no forbidden chakras for you.
No chakras for me.
But did you die and let the team win?
No, we kept getting disconnected. because of the DOS attack.
Yeah, there's been a lot of that lately.
It's annoying because we were doing really badly because we'd make little mistakes, we'd die, and then the runs where we're doing really well would disconnect. It was like the game was designed. It's like the DOS was whoever's DOSing was sat there going, "Oh crap, they got it to 10%. DOS, 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 DOS."
Yep, they're doing it just to keep you from progressing, Chille.
The desire sensor is on full blast.
It just felt. I know it wasn't, but it just felt really well timed.
Yeah.
But no, congratulations on getting this interview through, Chille. It was an honor to help you with it.
Thank you for the questions you submitted. I was happy to push them, forward.
I'm glad to see that everything went through well, and that a lot of the community is actually taken to a lot of the answers that came from these.
Yeah, a lot more than I expected.
Yeah, I mean, Happy even did a whole video reading on this article.
That made me so happy. I was sat going, Mr. Happy, Senpai noticed me.
Does that mean you're going to get on State of the Realm now?
No, probably not.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to, because, I am
weak.
hashtag...
Hey guys, guess where I'm going?
Like, take me with you.
I'm hashtag podcast whore, but still.
Now Chille.
But no.
Whores get paid.
Thank you, Femir.
Well, who do you think pays a sub? I mean...
I don't need to know about your business arrangement.
How good, Mugu? It happened to Mugu Quest. It happened to his 3S group too.
Oh, apparently.
By the way,
go ahead.
The forum thing was because I was thinking about Archmon at the time. I'm thinking, what would Archmon do? Oh yes, you'd talk about the community of the forum.
Yeah, gotcha. No, that's cool. I guess I misread it when I copy pasted it over. I always thought that was part of his answer. So.
Yeah.
But seriously, thank you to everyone to the community for helping me with the questions. I'm happy I was able to voice something for you guys for everything you've done for me. Well, I really enjoy being part of this community, and I enjoy being the giant podcast whore that I am.
Well, I'm hoping
Please
that
let me podcast.
with now that you've been able to get that through there, maybe they'll go to a PSU more often.
Yeah, that'd be cool, and then I can do more questions for everyone.
Yep, we can keep submitting more, and get.
I can submit that question I wanted to submit that I forgot about, and it's annoying me because I've wanted to submit this question for years, and when I sent this interview, I didn't remember it until afterwards. Well, I want a gathering/crafting fate system where you can like Hamlet.
I mean, they kind of had something like that in the favors that they had at Heaven's Word, and people seemed mostly unpleased with that.
But imagine crafting fates where you get a vendor that says, "Oh, we're out of these T-shirts. Do you mind crafting them for me?" And then he puts in like the special part, the crafting section of the thing log, and then you get all the ingredients. You got to craft T-shirts.
Not the T-shirts.
Or whatever, you know what I mean? Oh, this piece of armor is doing really well. Generic armor. Do you mind crafting it for us?
I mean, they kind of have something like that. If you've ever actually looked at the descriptions of the various crafting leaves, they usually have people who are asking you to supply stuff to respond to some set of series of events or things like.
Yeah, that's
does
why
anyone
I got the
else
idea
read the descriptions of the leaves?
Yeah, that's why I got the idea from doing it as a fate system as well.
Yeah, it's not the current leave system is not an actual active thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Like with the gatherers, it's an active thing. You go out there, you activate your leave, you gather the things within a time frame, and you get graded on your performance and what you can gather. But crafting, you just turn in the random shit.
It's not random. There's story.
You know what I mean, though. If you're not reading everything, it seems like it's just, okay, this one I just have to turn in this many of X item, this one I have to turn in X many of this item.
Well, yeah, and if you're not reading things, then you're like, Tenzin attacking the party totally came out of nowhere.
Who's Tenzin?
Oh, I remember Tenzin. Good times.
Watch
out for those Tarus. They were annoying. Oh no!
Siblings.
Why is he attacking us? Why is Sarah attacking me?
There was a reason for it. It was telegraphed.
Philistines.
This moment of anger brought to you by certain people from Sarah's FF11 live.
Oh, that mammoth fight though, that took me forever to beat.
My group actually got that first try. We were surprised.
Wow. It took me like 50, 60 times.
All right. Should we look
Anyway,
at the
one
other
second.
interviews that came up?
Can I
Sure.
just finish? Ivory Jasmine says, I hope Chille gets to get a podcast to Grand Slam. I hope so too.
All right. So there were 2 other interviews that came out of Paris Games Week. One from blog.livedoor.jp user umadori0726. And
Oh
the
my
other,
god, we've got a Google translation. This is going to be good.
they're both Google translations. The other one came from warlegend.net, which is a French MMO website.
All right, I think it's probably going to be better if we attempt to summarize these rather than read each one.
I'm going through to see if there's anything new out of the blog door one.
So someone was asking about further appearances of Admiral Merylvib, to which they were saying that, let's see, how would I best say this?
Yeah,
the
right.
feeling that if Limsa is not the focus of what's going on, then it doesn't really work to have Merylwib there. But possibly if there's something involving going to war with the Garlemald Empire, you could have something that focuses on the various people in command. You could involve Merylwib there. That could be something nice.
Don't you mean the Galamar Empire?
What is with this translation?
This, like I said,
And plus, it's Melwib.
yeah, it's Melwib. Like I said, a lot of I didn't fix everything in this.
Yeah.
But
number 5 looks kind of interesting here. Question about if we can expect a submarine.
ooh,
Can you expect a submarine? What?
Okay, let's not. We are going to waste so much time if we point out every weirdness in the machine translation here. And they bring up that the exploratory content, so the airship ventures that we had with Heavensward, that it looks like starting in patch 4.2, they're going to have another type of content following that.
But what will that be?
And that having that be submarines might be something to be expected.
We all live in a yellow submarine.
The next one, though, they talk a little bit more about the expansion of the glamour system.
So,
attach more than one piece of equipment to an item with glamour prisms, like having one for warrior, one for a paladin.
Oh my god, that's been my... And although it's not... Noting that the answer is not a direct answer to that question, but they are changing it to register multiple glamours, to register whole body, such as register... Whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
It will be a system that almost everyone wants come true. A little more, please wait as information can be outputted.
So it does sound like that's something that they're taking into account, being able to... The whole idea of register an entire register an entire outfit?
Yeah.
Because that would be kind of nice if you're changing individual pieces of armor, but to be able to have the entire outfit registered as something.
Mm-hmm. The one I like here, talking about the ability to put Mog Station items in your armory chest, your armoire.
Mm-hmm.
Which number is that? Oh,
11.
yeah, number 11.
So please wait a little more about the item around that. I am doing major innovation towards patch 4.2.
So I'm guessing there's some kind of major change going on with the armoire in 4.2.
Which it would be nice if you could take some of the items the glamours that you buy from the Mog Station and put them in your armoire.
Asking about the Yokai Watch collaboration and whether there's going to be a repeat of the FF11 or 13 events. Mentions that the FF11 event will be replayed from November 10th. Oh, hey, that's yesterday.
Yes.
And there's not one scheduled for the 13th. But if there is a request for one, they would consider it, so the usual provide forum feedback. It sounds like, again, if there's enough demand for it, that they'll give it a go. It's mostly what are people actually asking for.
Yep.
I'm saying this now, I'm going to go with no.
Yep. I want to skip down to... Go ahead.
Because the Fantasy 13 stuff is being sold on the Mog Station.
Mm-hmm.
So by doing the event again, it'll kill the sales.
And they did do it twice already.
They could do a different 13 event.
They could, yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
if they're doing a different 13 event, you know what they could do instead? Do the 15 event.
Yeah. That's something that comes up in another question, I think, on the other interview.
Or we could have everyone cosplaying as Adult Hope. Adult Hope is hot. Shut up.
Just keep.
I want to skip
your hope on it.
Skip to 15 here. As the apartment is narrow, I would like to make a small, medium, large, like a house.
I think that means apartments are kind of small, and we'd like there to be larger apartments.
And we've talked about this.
Yes, we have.
We have already talked about this. I think that people are listening to us, Luna.
Maybe.
So they're going to increase the land in 4.2 and fairly crossover to everyone. I think make it more fair
Oh my
for people to
god,
get.
read it before you say it out loud.
No, it's more funny to do it this way.
Oh.
They don't currently plan to develop large apartments, but it's something they're looking forward to doing in the future.
We're doing development with full power.
Yeah, they want to.
question.
What?
I love it.
Okay, that one you can read verbatim.
What is the next job hint for the next extended disc?
I
There
think that
is
means
none.
Next
Suck it.
question. You are annoying me. Oh, this year the Crayon Liberator.
I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be Crimson.
Yes, it's supposed to be Stormblood, but
Let's see. Asking about what they felt proud about from patch 4.0, they were proud that the people really liked the MSQ media and players all over the world. They were told that it was especially interesting, even compared with previous Final Fantasy games.
and they should be
So,
proud
like,
of that.
Yeah, they really nailed the story there.
I agree. Crane Liberator is my favorite
Yes.
expansion ever. Extended disc. Sorry.
All right. There's not too much left in that to go over, but it was just
Yeah.
more fun to paste it in there and see what kind of reaction we could get. There is none. But
That was pretty good.
But this other one from warlegend.net, this one actually translated pretty well. French translates much nicer than Japanese. Gee, big surprise, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. I want to jump into the question that kind of tied into a question we had up in Chille's interview. Where was that one? I could have swore that was in there, but maybe read it in another interview.
Might have been. Yeah, I'm interested in the one talking about the various job that they'd like to see.
Go ahead.
So they asked about which class or job from the Final Fantasy universe would you most like to see? And I noted that it is a delicate question. That's an interesting choice. I'm guessing that's the translation there. There are a lot of jobs I would like to see in FF14. Determining whether or not they'd be able to integrate with game design is tricky. Take the Blue Mage, for example, which is one that I hear a lot of my friends talking about. His ability to learn his different skills from his opponents is simply unique and really very interesting. But it's not certain that this fits into FF14, especially when this comes to group gameplay. There could also be a job that uses objects in support context or even a healer.
Chemist.
But there could be limitations. Can he use his objects indefinitely? Should there be a limit? It's necessary that the job responds to the mechanics of FF14. I have any ideas, and of course classes and favorite jobs, but it remains to be seen whether or not they can be integrated into the game. There's also the popularity aspect to take into account. Of course, we cannot decide whether to add a job or not just based on that, but it is necessary to consider it as a criterion at the same way as the ability of the job to integrate into the game. These are two things that must be in symbiosis. That's an interesting translation. And it's this type of challenge we have to deal with every time. So yeah, like they do want to hit on the popularity, finding something that works perfectly with the mechanics, but doesn't strike it that classic FF nostalgia feel isn't going to work for it. But yeah, chemist. Does the chemist just have items? Do you have a bag loaded up with stuff? If you just have it as like hey, it's a rechargeable type thing, is it meaningfully different from something that uses MP like another healer? Like, if you want to give it that chemist feel, you kind of have to have items, but how do you actually make that work?
All right.
Not impossible, mind you, but it's an important consideration.
Yeah, Fusion, we know they ask that question all the time.
Because I think people aren't going to be satisfied until it's, yes, we have Blue Mage, and you, as the most devoted one, get to be the first to unlock it a full 3 months before everyone else. That's the secret answer you all are hoping for. Let's not kid ourselves.
Right.
And also because you are most pure of heart, have this special thing that will allow you to always roll 99 when your loot drops.
Is that why you get everything you
as
want,
long as we're going
Fusion?
for the most self-indulgent wish fulfillment fantasy possible.
Well, maybe that's why Fusion always seems to get all the good stuff. You know, he's got all that special rolling magic from Yoshi from his interviews.
Because he is the most pure of heart?
He
I
is
feel like
the
there's
most
issues with this.
dragoon of dragoon.
I don't know if that's an insult or not.
I don't either, but
We love you, Fusion.
no, it's all good.
We don't love you, Fusion. I don't know. What do you want me to say?
But well, Yoshi's trolled him, so go ahead, I guess. I don't know. Is there anything else in this interview that really, tickled your fancy?
Let's see.
A lot of it seems to be there's a little bit of butt kissing in the interview questions.
Yeah. I mean, we did some amount of that too.
Yeah, not as much.
Talked a little bit about crossovers. They brought up FF15.
Oh, this was the one, yes, because we were going to talk because we talked about 14 having the different crossovers with 11 and 13. So they're saying in the past there have been crossovers with other Final Fantasies such as 13. Have you planned other events of this kind, like with 15, for example, or even Dissidia, whose output is close? And of course, we are currently discussing projects of this kind, but it's only once we have something concrete that we can make an announcement.
The rights for these things can be incredibly complex on that. There's in Final Fantasy Record Keeper, there's at least one set of events that still hasn't come out, just because it involves some crossover stuff with Mobius and exactly who owns the property, who has rights to it, how it can be used. Like, for the players and for the designers, it's like, who cares about that? But this actually ends up being a really complicated question that gets in the way of things a lot of times.
You would think that Square would have the rights to use that in properties that they are licensing, though.
Except it depends on the terms of the licensure agreement that they made.
True, but I don't know.
This is a very... Speaking as someone who lives in what feels like the intellectual property lawsuit capital of the world, this is something that can get really complicated really fast, especially because the current system we have of laws we have is not really optimized for making it easy to share. I have a lot of opinions about this. So many opinions about this.
Yeah, and Fusion's talking in the chat. That they don't develop all their mobile games. I know they do outsource a lot of it to like DNA and to other sources like that. But
I think Mobius itself is done in house. But yeah, Record Keeper is done out to Dana, and the licensure stuff can be different for the U.S. release versus the Japan release.
Yeah, I know Brave Exvius is another one. Gumi, I think.
Gumi. Yeah.
But I mean, they still hold all the rights to. Square Enix is still the first name that pops up.
Yeah, but I mean, if they already have an existing licensure agreement, they may have, they can't...
I'm not a lawyer, so...
Yeah. Dana or Gumi would not be terribly happy if they are constantly like, oh, I am altering the deal. Pray I do not alter it further.
So Square Enix is Vader?
You can't actually pull that shit.
Yeah.
Not if you want to keep partners.
That's true. And since he's here, the other interview that we wanted to talk about was just released from Gamer Escape, an interview with Soken. This was quite an interesting read. And I didn't read it in full, unfortunately, because I didn't catch it until we were close to showtime. But
this was one of the better interviews, in my opinion. One of the best.
Just the fact that we get to hear a little bit from Soken's point of view is really cool. So basically, he's been talking about wanting to do this the orchestral concert for quite a while. But so he kind of gets to talk a little bit about that. So like
he said that he's been even as early as the beginning of A Realm Reborn development, he was already thinking about and preparing for doing some kind of orchestra concert for it. So this is something that's been in the works, bouncing around at least in his head for a long time.
Yep. And then is working on it for the collaborative effort with the team. He says at least 2 years. And was it difficult to arrange each of these pieces for an orchestra? And he goes, the day before the first concert.
That somehow is unsurprising.
He's worked on various arrangements in Final Fantasy XIV, but in creating each piece, there's something that he is taking great care to remember. The music is not the star. It's part of the drama that the player creates as they live within Eorzea. And you know what? That's really true. The fact that the music, how it plays and intertwines with the experience that we're having as players in the game.
But it never really dominates it.
No, it really just fits in very nicely with it. And, so I have found myself, sometimes when I'm listening to the OSTs in my car or just randomly in the house, my mind always seems to go back to situations when I heard that music last, not listening to it as a piece of music, but as, oh yeah, I remember when I heard this, I was doing yada, yada, yada in the game. And,
each one's kind of attached to an experience.
Exactly. And he really, knows that. So, making it the star is very difficult, I guess. So he's saying, in other words, I could not possibly create an arrangement that could potentially trample upon the setting of Eorzea, which all the players have lived in and experienced. The orchestra arrangement is no different. My thinking has not changed, and this allowed me to establish how I would like to tweak the songs in my mind straight away. So... Did he have any personal involvement with the Philharmonic Orchestra?
And he talks a bit about how his father was actually a member of the Tokyo Philharmonic. So given that, I'm guessing that he has kind of a much longer-term relationship association with them.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
And since this was the first concert, he's talking about how Yoshi P and Soken racked their brains really hard for a few months to decide what was on the song list.
Yeah, they wanted to make it like it's not just, hey, we're doing a bunch of music for it. They want to make it actually feel like an orchestral suite.
Yep, kind of like a whole proceeding storyline that you're going to get by experiencing the music.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Talking a bit about Oblivion performed with a quartet. I had the thought of wanting to do a ballad arrangement of Oblivion. When I released the third soundtrack, went to CD shops around Japan. At a CD shop in Hokkaido, I heard through the grapevine there was a warrior of light who worked at the store, and that she was also a talented singer. I'm guessing he means someone who plays the game, but it's really cute that he refers to them that way.
Yeah.
Out of the blue, I asked if we could have her sing Shiva's theme while I played the piano. She agreed, and when we performed it, the store was packed with warriors of light who gave us an overwhelming ovation. That made me think that kind of composition would make a cool arrangement. Based on that inspiration, I created a proper ballad version of Shiva's theme in Duality, our arrangement album, which was received very well by the players.
It was amazing. I really did enjoy that totally different feel to the song. I mean, normally it's a very upbeat and raucous song, but this one, it really is tempered and it's very cool in its tone. And yes, the pun is intended.
Yeah. Now, when doing an orchestra concert, I pondered about how I could best express Shiva's ballad using an orchestra, and came to settle on a string quartet. I used the intertwining tone of 4 string instruments to express the thin strings of the Dragon Song War that entangles Ysael's life and the history it weaved.
He puts a lot of thought into that.
Yeah, it seems like he's been planning this, putting this together for a long time, but at the same time still kind of looking for inspiration from all these things and keeping himself I'm just really impressed with him.
Fusion, do you want to call in and talk about this a little bit? We'd love to have you on to discuss your interview.
This is really good stuff.
It is. I like I said, when we went through it, I wanted to read more of it, but like I said, we kind of ran short on time before the show started. So if you want to jump in, by all means, jump into the Discord.
It's just like when Soken's arranging his pieces the day before the first concert.
Exactly, right?
Yay!
Figuring, we got Chille here to discuss his interview. Why not get Fusion on to talk about his, right?
Yeah, we can start a fanfic.
Oh, is he coming? I'm not actually in the Twitch chat right now.
He said give him a minute, and that'd be absolutely fine. Until then, let's go ahead and continue talking about some of the different questions.
So let's see.
Does Yoshida play a mad drum?
His performance was okay. I'd like for him to try out Extreme next. Then he will have to practice a lot. It's interesting when talking about when they were performing the Alexander theme Mobius. Was the pause during the Alexander theme Mobius influenced in any way by the reaction you received during the pause when you performed Rise at the Primals concert at FanFest in Frankfurt? And he mentions that originally when we were brainstorming ideas for the orchestra concert, Yoshida-san had mentioned that he would love to have a dramatic moment where time for the performers stopped completely. The pause during the Frankfurt concert was based on that idea, so in actuality, the idea for the orchestra concert came first. I actually really like that. This whole thing, like they're having the thing based on the big complicated time fight and having this time actually freezes during it, because that was such an eerie moment during the actual fight.
Also, welcome Fusion. Thanks for stopping in short notice like this.
Yeah, sure. No, it's fine. Just hanging out, you know.
I mean, just happened to see you in the chat, and it's like, you know what? You're the one who did all this. Maybe you should talk a little bit about it too. So,
for real though, that time stop in Rise at Frankfurt was amazing. When they did that whole just everybody getting super hyped up when that happened. Like, oh my god, I still replay it in my head every so often. So good.
It's just that dramatic moment.
Yeah.
Especially since I'm guessing no one was expecting it.
No, I mean, it's one of those things where I think people were glad to see it. I don't know if it was necessarily surprise, but the fact that they did do it was awesome.
Yeah, they do so much to really pay homage to the game, and we get to experience it, by playing through it on the computers. But a lot of people who are listening to the music or attending these concerts, some of them don't really know what that feeling is like. So when he tries to put that feeling by having you listen to the music, I mean, that's just amazing.
I mean, it's ridiculous how much work Soken puts into this stuff. I mean, I mentioned in the interview that we talked to him back at PAX. I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, and
2015.
He's back then, yeah, he was wanting to do an orchestra concert. And even back then, I mean, there was the one track when Heavensward came out, the Legatus music that they were using. They went back and they redid it and put a real violin in it, because before he was just using computer generated stuff. And he's like, it sounded all right, but he really wanted a really good real violin, and so they went back and they recorded it and they snuck it in there.
Nice.
It just seems like I hate using the word just because it gets misused a lot, but the whole artisan type thing, he really does feel like he kind of takes that approach to things, really caring about the quality of it for its own sake.
Soken cares about everything. It's just he's always so excited to talk to people and stuff too. I can remember I think it was the first time I met him. It was during the PAX launch event for A Realm Reborn, because my interview slot was actually with Yoshida and Soken. And I feel like Soken probably got bored because people were just asking Yoshida questions. Because I remember, after the first day, Soken was just out by the little merch booth, and he was just signing soundtracks for anybody that bought them. He was just so excited and happy. And seriously, he's such a cool guy. He's so great.
I mean, that was kind of the impression I had. I saw him at FanFest, and people would be trying to lead him along, and he would any chance he got, stop for selfies with someone or shake hands or just to be really excited with people. This is a guy who is loving his life right now. I saw
him at FanFest, and I always have whatever the new CD is that's out. Whenever I do PAX or FanFest or E3, I always stick the insert in a notebook somewhere just so I can get it, because to get signed. And I saw him and I had him sign it, and the really cool thing too I love about Soken is he's not great at English, but he knows enough that he'll totally try and carry on a conversation with you. And he goes, he's like, oh, you like new patch music? I'm like, yeah. He's like, what's your favorite? And I said, Sophia. And he kind of leans in, he goes, maybe I play tonight. I just remember I was like, awesome. And then I immediately I said bye, and then I turn around, pull out my phone, and I'm like, hey guys, by the way, Soken just told me that. And sure enough, he totally played that. He played Equilibrium that night.
Yeah, he's the amount of love that he gave to the fans at FanFest was just beyond amazing.
Yeah. I mean, even on Twitter, the other day, we posted our interview, and Square retweeted it, and Soken, because we tweeted it, mentioned Soken in the tweet, and he replied, and he's like, oh, anytime you have questions, let me know. And I'm like, oh, that is so awesome.
All right, guys, so it's official. We're going to create a bunch of questions for Soken. We're going to send them straight to him. No, I know. It's not how it works. But...
that might actually be how it works.
Maybe
for Soken.
We can learn.
If it's a short, easy to understand question, you might be able to get away with it.
Yeah.
Ask him if he's going to use marimbas for stuff. I like marimbas.
How about no?
What?
Can we perform with the cardboard box?
Oh god.
Oh god, the cardboard
When
box.
he's done a cardboard box, he had there was
The kawaii piano.
Toy
yeah,
piano.
the kawaii piano. There was there was actually the one track too where he had people at it was either TGS or one of the Nico Nico events where he took somebody like recording and hitting a drum or something like that, and he actually ended up using it in the game.
Nice.
This is gonna drive me nuts because I remember seeing it and I can't remember for the life of me like what the event was and what the track was. But yeah, I mean he's awesome. There's no other way to put it. Like he's like a Japanese version of Chille.
Yay!
but that knows like how to make like music.
Yeah, amazing
Yeah, so
music.
skilled.
Oh, come on, Chille. But no, he is so upbeat. He is so just, you know, he loves all the people who play the game, who listen to the music,
and he's a goofball.
Yeah.
That PAX 2015 when I interviewed him, we like it's I don't say it's like tradition, but like it's a normal thing. Like you'll take a picture either like of them against a backdrop, or you'll take a picture with them like to post in the interview. So we take one. I take one with Soken, and then he looks at me and goes, "Now one with funny face." And so now if you go back and you look up that interview, there's a picture of Soken with like this giant ass grin, and I'm just like sitting there with my mouth open like an idiot.
But it's Soken asking. How could you
wanted.
say no?
Well, exactly.
How could you deny him?
No, but I'm glad to see that we're getting interviews from people other than Yoshi, and the fact that you brought this one out at the same time all these Paris Games Week interviews came out.
It just happened to line up with that. We actually had our JP team was actually at the concert, and just stuff kind of life happened, and they weren't able to put up like we were hoping to try and do like a little summary or something, but that didn't happen. But I worked with my JP team over at GE, and we put a couple questions together for him. So
nice.
And Soken's been busy, you know, as one who's just done an orchestra and, you know, is working on patch music and now editing a Blu-ray release, you know, might be. So
I'm so tempted to pick up this Blu-ray too, but I mean it's $80.
Not if you buy it from other places.
Yeah, I know, but well, actually, it's even more if you buy it from SE because of the shipping too.
Yeah, I love SE, but the fact that I can get this thing for like $52.
Really? At what, CD Japan or?
Yep. Yeah. They're like upcharging like $18-20 on it. I don't understand why.
Yeah,
it's the same disc. I really that's
Because
ridiculous.
we want monies. We want monies.
I mean, it's bad enough that their shipping is just god awful because they literally like force like one shipping option on you, and it's always like ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're like upselling something by like $15-20. Like, what the hell?
Yeah,
like, I love
their own
SE,
thing, but
you guys put out really good stuff. But what is going on with your merch?
yeah, it's
I'm
like
guessing that's being handled by some other part of the company.
or just
See,
been
that's the only thing I like.
outsourced.
That's the only thing I like about the UK store, at least. Or at least, I don't know about the rest of Europe, but all shipping from Square Enix, if it's over 50 quid, is free.
Wow.
Yeah, we don't get that.
Wonder what's up
I mean,
with that.
I don't think I've. Well, no, it's not true. I had the collector's edition from them,
Yeah,
but that's like the only time I spend over.
Yeah, I bought the collector's edition, so I got that for shipping for free.
Not us.
But the price of the collector's edition here is almost the same price as your version with shipping, so...
Yeah,
And something value added tax. That's a thing,
Yeah.
right?
that's true.
Well,
True.
that's already built into our prices, so...
Oh.
Yeah, I would say
Airline
if you're
confuses me.
tempted, Klaus, did you get the mini orchestral album?
Yeah, because that's what, about $20, $30, something like that.
Gosh, I forget. Yeah, I mean it's only that's the other thing too that I understand, and we asked him about this with the selection of songs for the album, because you don't get everything. As well on the CD, it's like what 8 tracks, I think.
Yep.
But then on the Blu-ray, you get the video of the whole thing, but you only get downloadable versions of some of them. So I'm like, I'm not sure why you don't just get all of them. It seems kind of weird to split. I don't know if that was a business thing, or
is it
what,
like you only just get the 10 that didn't show up on the other mini orchestral album?
I want to say no, because there was overlap. I want to say.
So I thought there were 18 tracks within the concert
Correct, yeah,
itself, and then I thought all 18 tracks were on the Blu-ray.
Well, they are in the sense that the whole concert is on the Blu-ray, and that you could listen to all of them that way. But they have the
but the MP3s like they have with the other OSTs are not available to copy off.
Yeah, so it has the footage of the 18 songs, but then it includes Serenity Ultima, Calamity Unbound, Rise of the White Raven, Omnius Prognostics, Painted Foothills, Revenge Twofold, Mobius, Oblivion, and Heroes. So we know that they played. There was like a Crystal Tower suite, I think.
Ooh.
What else isn't on there? Answers and Heaven's Word, Dragon Song.
We've already got how many copies of Answers in Heaven's Word, though?
It's really only... Well, yeah, I mean, to be fair, you get all of those from the Distant Worlds albums. Those are, I think, Dragon Song and Answers have both been on Distant Worlds. But yeah, so we're missing Out of the Shattered Labyrinth, which is their Crystal Tower.
Okay.
Like medley. So that's like the one I would want to hear. So I don't understand, it's like, why is that the one between the two that's not...
They want you to get the Ultimate Collector's Edition.
I mean, I'd buy it.
Yeah. They got our number.
Yeah.
If it came with a minion, I'd buy it.
Well, it comes with two
rolls,
right?
Yeah,
Ultima and Heroes.
I mean, that's the big...
minions.
It comes with an orchestrion roll minion. It's like a little orchestrion roll that walks around.
That would be amazing, actually.
I mean, like, I have like the duality version of Ravana, like running in my house. Like, that's pretty cool. That's some incentive.
Oh.
Yeah, I run the piano version of the other song from that.
I play Papa.
Yeah.
But no, it's amazing though. I mean, I love the way that they really do entice people to pick up these things because we can then listen to the music over and over again, share it with people in our free companies,
I would love to see them, and I know that they'll probably never do this just because of the way that files and data can be stored or altered. Mm-hmm. I think it'd be awesome if you buy a CD, like buy the orchestra CD, all the tracks that are on there you get in game, and you can have an option to swap out to the new version of that.
I guess the easiest way
to like if I download like the Primals thing, like let me swap out like Garuda for like the new like rock version.
Oh,
of
like
Garuda.
In the actual battle?
Yes. Let me dat swap that. Let me exchange it.
Yeah, that might be problematic to actually implement, but yeah, it would be a cool idea.
Cool though.
I think they should do it.
Submit the suggestion.
Yeah, next interview you get, can we, blah 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 blah.
Like
there we go.
I mean, at a certain point, it's like there might be technical challenges, but they've said like, "Hey, like send the stuff and we'll figure it." Them? Yeah, like send in the idea and we'll figure out if there's a technical
problem.
Soken's
making tracks that have like all these different points where they fade into like one of like 5 other types of the same song. Like I'm sure they could figure out.
I still find it amazing that he did that.
Yeah. It's great. A lot of people are doing that kind of stuff now.
Trendsetter.
But no, thanks for stopping in on this. As somebody who's done a lot of interviews with Square Enix, it probably never gets old when you get your interview published, right?
I mean, I hate to say that it's like become kind of normal, but like I'm like the guy that's now, right? I'm like the guy now that's like, oh, cool, Square retweeted it. I should probably like mute my Twitter phone notifications now. Like,
I love that now.
Soken retweeted it. Oh, Squex Music retweeted it. All right, let me just go ahead and turn this down. But I mean, no, it's cool that everybody, I like that. Obviously, I like the opportunity that we get to ask the questions to begin with. But one of the things that I really pride myself with, and everybody else at GE, is that interviews are always being done by various outlets. Some of them play 14, some of them have questions that they were given by a friend that they know that plays 14. But something that we always get complimented on is the questions that we ask. We ask really good questions. And so that's something that I really, I think it's kind of just a nod to like how actually in tune we are with the game and the community. And we also know, like, at this point, like, okay, if we ask Yoshida this, will he actually give us an answer? If no, don't even bother, and then we'll let somebody else ask him what job he would like to see added into the game or something. I say that. I think we've asked him that before, but
and that actually was one of the ones we were looking at earlier.
Yep. But I will say that I'm very happy that with the interview that Chille got to publish on Thursday, that one of the big questions that came out of it was one that we actually were able to submit through that, and even Happy was happy with the whole thing with the relic armor.
That was something we had talked to him about at E3. He's like, is that still a thing? He's like, yeah, we're working on it. It wasn't, hard, confirmed, but he's like, yeah, that's still something we're considering.
Yeah, the relic armor's been keeping me. I've been waiting to ask that question for ages.
And then
it's.
Here's the other thing that I'm noticing. Like I said, we said earlier on, we submitted these questions to Chille like a month ago, and it was just now brought to him and released this week. So the fact, that's quite. Is it normal for that that type of?
Oh yeah, I mean, when was the orchestra concert?
True, that was quite a while ago.
I mean, and it's not that they're not trying. It's just there's so much work.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
They get a lot of questions as well, I'm sure.
Translation on both sides.
Oh yeah, I mean it's especially we're kind of getting out of convention season now, right? After Paris Games Week, I think there's not really anything till PAX East. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. That's starting New Year stuff. So
well, and even then, even outside of that, they just had 2 fan fests in Korea and China. I mean, they're always traveling somewhere. It's a matter of getting the time to sit them down. But first, they have to. PR will translate the questions into Japanese. They'll give them to Yoshida. Yoshida will answer them. Give them back to PR. PR will translate them into English. And it's just it takes time.
Yeah.
Also, at some point, they have to actually do game development.
Yeah, I mean, with everything else going on, I mean, it's ridiculous. And so, I mean, I'll get things from PR all the time if we're trying to do an email QA, and it's it might take a little bit. They're working on the patch that's out next week. I'm like, well, obviously that's fine. Tell them to take their time. It's cool. I can wait.
No, but it's cool to now have an idea of how a lot of these interviews work. How long what the time it takes to go between you actually submitting your questions, actually getting something back that you can publish on your site. So it's really cool to actually have an idea how it works. So I'm actually really excited that we were able to be a part of all of this with Chille. So
he hasn't stopped talking about it.
I haven't.
Seriously.
No, he's right. I haven't. I'm really excited about it. So, but again, thank you so much for taking your time to stop by and talk about your interview with Soken. It was a really interesting read. I want to go through it more in depth when I have time, but I love hearing new things about the story and the music and everything. So,
Soken's just a great guy. I get in a small amount of Flame Wars saying it, but I actually feel like he's a bigger contributor at this point than Uematsu.
Oh,
I know that this is a ballsy heretical statement, but I'm standing by it.
And I want to say that
I think you scared Fusion off with that comment.
I want to say that Fusion's article was the best article this week.
I think they were both extremely good articles.
There's just a lot of good stuff in general.
So if you guys want to talk about, some of the things that you heard us talk about and you want to give your opinion on, we're going to take a few more minutes here. If you want to jump into the call-in channel, I'm more than happy to take a couple of calls here real quick. I know a couple people have talked that they wanted to say something about it, so I'll give you the opportunity to do so.
Give them that link. Do we have that? Tell them where to find it?
Yep, you can find us. The links below the stream for our Discord channel. Otherwise, it's phoenixdownradio.com/Discord. It's thrown out occasionally in the Twitch chat as well. So, and once
tell us so that Chille can go to bed.
I'll make more controversial statements.
No.
He's good at that. He really is.
He's really good at that, but no. Help save us.
In the meantime, while we wait for that, we got a really cool idea from Mithrin Scarlet. He and I had a nice discussion this week, and he gave me a really cool idea that I'm going to try this week.
Is it called the sighing song?
Yes. Sigh. No. We're always asking you guys for, ideas, comments, feedback, stuff like that. And it's hard to get that type of information from people when you're not asking for something specific.
Yeah, just like, hey, world, what do you think? How do you feel? Like, it's kind of vague.
It's hard to answer those questions. And every time you get asked that by your doctor or your psychiatrist or whatever, it's like, I don't know how to answer that.
I'm okay.
Turns out there's an auto-translate for that as well.
But, so I want to try asking a question for you guys. With Final Fantasy XI about to celebrate its 15th anniversary, and the Final Fantasy series in general celebrating 30 years this year, you know, we want to know why you got hooked into Final Fantasy. You know, a lot of people started playing Final Fantasy XI because of that Final Fantasy name. But what got you into this game series in general? Because that's something we may want to talk about next show. So we'd like to get some of your feedback on that so we can maybe expound on that particular discussion. You can email that to podcast@phoenixdownradio.com. You can tweet at us at phxdnradio if you have just a really quick thing to say on it. But we want to hear your feedback. What got you hooked on Final Fantasy? So, anybody want to jump in on our discussion? I'm not seeing anybody jump on that in the chat or in Discord.
Well, we can give them another minute. I have something that I would like to kind of discuss / announce.
Yes.
So for a while, everyone knows here that I've kind of been doing art and that I've been kind of slacking on doing drawings and whatnot. But if I hit 300 Twitter followers by the end of the year, I'm going to be giving away 5 waist up drawings.
Ooh, she's going to commissions again.
I'm going into commissions again, yes.
That's awesome.
So, is that like going into remission?
Not at all.
No.
I have nothing useful to contribute, so I'm just making stupid jokes.
And how dare you be so insensitive?
God damn it.
I'm the worst.
You both are the worst.
The weirdest?
The weirdest.
Is that like bratwurst?
Yeah, so
anyways.
If
he's liverwurst.
Would like to have a chance to win, or would like to commission me, or whatever, either get a hold of me in game if you're on Hyperion. It's Lunavox-Atrodom, or Twitter, which is where you can go follow me at Luna_Vox. And I'm 11 away from 300, so
pretty close.
We should get more people, because I'm not going to stop it until it's the end of the year. We'll see how many go.
Very close. You can do it. You can do it.
I can do it. But yeah, if you guys are interested in actually getting a commission, I will take Gil in game. I won't say no to Gil. But yeah, otherwise, just get a hold of me either via Twitter or in game.
Uh-oh. Poor MugoQuest has been banned from Twitter.
What did you do to get that?
Well, good thing your FC is right next to mine.
You have to get 12 people from your free company to follow Luna, and then you'll get one.
Yep.
What about? I want a commission.
You have to get 12 people to follow Luna, and then you'll get one.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm making things up now. I'm putting things in Luna's mouth.
Crazy.
Give me more work.
That's what she mumbled.
Whoa. No. What did you just... No!
That's what she mumbled.
Oh my.
That's like... No?
As soon as I said it, I'm like, oh shit.
And here, this is the part of the show that we say goodnight.
Yay!
That was, oh boy.
Please don't put things in my mouth. Ever.
That's what you said last night.
Oh my.
Please tell me you didn't just hear Chris in the background.
Oh my.
Oh my. Oh god.
All right. Well, I think we're gonna go ahead and put a pin on that. Then, if you do want to comment on the interview questions, again, you can email us podcast@phoenixdownradio.com. You can hit us up on Twitter at phxdnradio. Anyway, on Facebook, wherever we're at, by all means, let us know your thoughts. Really would appreciate that. I got this request from our friend Talis Marvelous on Hyperion.
Could I read it, because I'm really close friends with Dexy.
Yeah, I remember
Sounds legit.
we had a that fun party.
Guys, we got a response to a question. In
Oh,
the chat.
I'm scared.
okay. Well, we'll have to remember that one for our discussion next episode.
Yep,
Copy that, paste it in somewhere.
Yes,
I got it.
Yep,
See, I'm always watching.
yep. Or you can email that to us, Ivory Jazzman, and we'll make sure to mention it on the show. But go ahead, Luna.
I like how everyone kind of jumped up, like, we got feedback! We got feedback!
Oh my god!
Words were said that were directed to us in a sentence.
But, okay, so about our email/comment. Talis Marvelous, who is one of my Twitter followers and one of our friends in-game and everything.
And a patron of the show.
Patron of the show, yep. And he's part of the roleplay community on Hyperion as well.
And just an amazing person.
He is. He really is. He says, my good friend Dextera Domini on Hyperion just finished her proton therapy for a tumor in her brain. I wanted to give her a shout out and congratulations. And I know Dexy has been going through something that I can't even imagine. And she's been so cheerful. I see her on Facebook all the time, and she has nothing but positive things to say. She is such a kind-hearted, sweet, amazing person, and I am so happy that she just finished her proton therapy, and I'm really happy. Congratulations, hon. You're one of my good friends in game, and I'm really happy that you made it through. So congrats.
Yeah, that's awesome. I honestly had no idea that she was going through that. So to hear that she's come through this and is on the road to recovery now, I am extremely happy. I remember we had a really fun maps run with her, and we did a lot of fun things. It was a good stream even. So I really hope that we can do that again soon. So yeah. You know, make sure to get better. Amazing. And come back and play with us again soon. And let's do all the things. So thank you, Talis, for letting us know about that. Whenever something like that happens within the community, we do want to know about it, because these are people that we play with. These are people that we, do our dungeon runs with. And, we are people behind the keyboard. We sometimes forget that. And, we want to make sure that everybody is, doing the best they can. So, thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Any other shout outs from you guys, or how can people get a hold of you?
Well, I kind of already said Luna_Vox at Twitter. Other than that, don't get a hold of me. I'm just kidding.
So you don't want to do the commissions? Is that what you're saying?
No, I will. No.
Luna, you're already reneging on your promises to people? God.
Sorry, not sorry. No, I'm kidding. But no, Luna_Vox at Twitter if you want to get a hold of me on the Tumblr, because I do have a Tumblr page, because why the hell not? It's LunaVox FFXIV, all just one word. Other than that...
Any shout outs besides to Dexy?
Besides to Dexy, good job, girl. Besides to Talis, you're one freaking good friend and one awesome guy. Shout out to my new RPFC, Sin, aka Divinity. If you guys are looking for a role-playing group on Hyperion that has what I'd like to think, even though I'm the one that wrote it, a really good hashed out backstory, give us a look up. I can always send you the backstory over Discord or whatever. But yeah, other than that, shout out to everyone who did interviews today. Chille included. Fusion included. Great job, guys.
You know what's funny, Luna? This free company that I have now, that used to be Sin.
Scary.
Yeah.
What I'm hearing is that the entire RP situation is just like this huge incestuous mess.
Yes.
Wait, what?
No.
The word was chosen deliberately.
Chille, shout-outs, contacts?
I want to shout out to everyone in the community that enjoyed reading my article. It's meant a lot to me that people really took a shine to it. A shout out to Yvonne Malaki, twitch.tv/Yvonne Malaki, girlfriend's favorite streamer. A shout out to my amazing hosts that had me on tonight. Thank you again. It's always a pleasure to be on here. A shout out to Twitch. A shout out to Fusion. One day our Fusion fanfic will come true. One day.
We need to raise a lot of money for that. Sarah?
And that's it.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. And how can they get a hold of you?
Wait, was that to Chille or
Chille, yeah. Chille, how can they get a hold of you?
Chille UK. Or I guess you can email me at ben.chillebehole@psu.com if need be.
All right. Sarah?
All right. I've got nothing for shoutouts. I always feel bad about this. I feel like such an ungrateful something or another, but nothing's coming to mind.
Because you
I'm
are
sorry.
ungrateful something or other?
Oh.
I forgot a shout out that I need to do, but
yes.
I'll let
you. See, Luna's got enough shout outs that she's forgetting them. But you can follow me on Twitter at FFXIV underscore. Is there?
Yes.
I don't even know my own. Oh, FFXIV Thayer. SEYRR. I mostly tweet occasional pictures of neat stuff I cooked, weird stuff I found at the library, and occasionally I just shout out Argath's quotes because that's hilarious to do.
Oh boy.
I don't know why I did it, but it was great. I figured I'd start going on about the lies on which you sup, except some of my non-FF14 friends would probably worry about me at that point.
All right, Luna, you're missing one?
2, actually.
Jeez.
I'm garbage!
Big shout out to our good friend and PDR FC's member, Kane Thorbreaker. He's been a really great guy and just kind of being there as a really good friend. So thank you for being there. Another shout out is to our lovely Chenin Akmorn. You helped me out a lot this week with the whole entire name dilemma and whatnot. I won't go into details, but you're awesome, girl. Thank you.
Awesome. And I want to throw a big shout out to everybody in the Final Fantasy XIV content creators group for Extra Life. You guys, we as a group, we worked really hard to raise funds for Extra Life. And the Musecast girls are still going right now over at twitch.tv/MusecastXIV. So if you want to stop over there after we're done here and give them some love and hang out with them, by all means do so.
That is some impressive determination there.
Yep. The fact, they split their day up into 2 12-hour days, so I think they're just about they're about 10 hours in, 8 hours in, something like that, to their second day.
Nice.
Shout out to Fusion for and to Shin over at Maelstrom Radio for getting this thing together. Shin is the team captain, so big shout out to him for getting everything started, and shout out to Fusion for getting Gamerscape involved and getting everybody together and working with Square Enix to get those awesome prizes for us to all give away. That was just awesome way to help us raise additional funds that we may not have been able to pull in. So thank you for that. It's really, really helpful for everybody here.
And it just makes it more fun, too. Keeping the whole thing fun and entertaining really helps you keep going through it.
Yeah. Shout out to my hosts, Luna, Sarah, Chille. You guys make this so much fun to do every time we start a show up. I love, working with you guys and have such a blast every time we do it. And shout out to all of our listeners. Shout everybody on listening on the podcast, everybody watching us live here at twitch.tv/PhoenixDownRadio. Really do appreciate that. So thank you so much for stopping by. And yeah. Excuse me, I had to cough there for a second. If you want to get a hold of me, I am at PHXDN_Klaus on Twitter. Klaus with 2 S's. So that'll do it for this episode, guys. I apologize that there was not a lore episode or a lore segment this week, but Sarah promised me that after Thanksgiving he will have something absolutely amazing.
Wait, what?
You did. I heard you say it.
I don't remember this. The next one's going to be utterly lame and uninspiring.
Well, we know you don't do lame and uninspiring, but no, don't worry about it. It's been, like I said, one of those.
No, I mean, I feel bad about promising that it will be lame and uninspiring.
Yeah, so he's gonna make it amazing. Moolah Quest, we didn't get any gil, so there's none to give back. Anyway, if you liked what you heard, please make sure to like, subscribe, or follow us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, wherever you catch our show. We'd really appreciate that. And if you can, leave a rating or review for us, because it helps people to find the show, lets people know what we're about and whether or not we're something that they might enjoy. If you really dig this show, consider becoming a subscriber here at Twitch, or becoming a patron at patreon.com/PhoenixDownRadio. The proceeds we get towards that really help grow the show, help things like hosting costs, and allow us to do the fun giveaways, supporter-only incentives, and things like that that we really want to be able to do for you guys to make this a more interesting show. Like I said, a new goal that we created out there on Patreon was, if we get to a certain subscriber level, we'll take all the lore segments and we'll create their own little show for those, so people can go check those out whenever they want. Because, I mean, there's a lot of work involved with that.
Also, as long as I'm at it, for the people who want more lore segments, just come to our Discord channel, come hang out in the library, ask questions. Every once in a while, I just randomly pop in and decide I want to read a story out loud. Like that actually happened earlier today.
2 of them, actually.
Oh yeah, there were 2 of them.
Yep.
They weren't Final Fantasy XIV related, I just wanted to practice my storytelling.
So yeah, Sarah does just some random stuff, so come check it out on Discord. Like I said, you can go phoenixdownradio.com/Discord, or you can click on the link below the stream. And any kind of support we get from you guys, whether it's emails, likes, tweets, follows, subs, donations, it's all greatly appreciated. We love interacting with you guys and the rest of the community. Like I said, doing charity streams, bringing on people to talk about their interviews. It's a great time. It's why we're here. So let us keep doing it for you guys. So, for my host, my co-hosts, Lunavox, for Sertamono, and for Chille, I'm Klaus Nightbringer, wishing everybody a wonderful evening. Thank you again for stopping out. Take care.
Phoenix Down Radio is a production of PhoenixDownRadio.com and Illusion Productions. Final Fantasy XIV and Eorzea are trademarks of Square Enix. In-game content for Phoenix Down Radio is the copyright of Square Enix. Opening music for Phoenix Down Radio is provided by Guilty Gear Rock You. Check out the Metal Chocobo theme cover and many other music videos at youtube.com/Guilty Gear Rock You. Closing music for this episode is provided by Guitar Wanker 90. Please check out their full version of Matoya's Cave and other rock video game covers at youtube.com/Guitar Wanker 90. The views and opinions expressed in this episode are those of Phoenix Down Radio and its hosts and do not reflect the views of Square Enix.